If you served during wartime, or you're the surviving spouse of someone who did, there's a benefit sitting in the VA's back pocket that a lot of veterans never even apply for, not because they don't qualify, but because they've never heard of it. It's called VA pension with aid and attendance, and depending on your situation, it can add over $2,000 a month, tax-free, on top of whatever else you're already receiving. Today I want to walk you through three things. Who actually qualifies, even if you think your income is too high or your service was too long ago. The biggest mistake that causes otherwise eligible veterans to get denied, and one overlooked detail near the end of this video that could be the difference between a partial payment and the full maximum amount. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss important VA updates. And let me know in the comments, where are you watching this video from? VA disability compensation is for injuries connected to your service. This is different. VA pension is a needs-based benefit for wartime veterans, meaning you don't need a service-connected injury at all. You just need to have served at least 90 days on active duty, with at least 1 day during a recognized wartime period, and been discharged under conditions other than dishonorable. If you entered active duty after 1980, the rules tighten a bit. You generally need 24 months of service, or to have completed your full tour. Then, on top of basic pension, aid and attendance is an enhanced rate added on for veterans who need help with daily activities like bathing, dressing, or managing medication, or who are housebound due to a disability. You don't have to be in a nursing home to qualify. Plenty of people receive it while living at home with family or a caregiver. Now here's where most people talk themselves out of applying before they even try: income. A lot of veterans assume that because they have Social Security, a small pension, or some savings, they're automatically over the limit. That assumption is costing people real money. For 2026, a single veteran with no dependents who qualifies for aid and attendance has a maximum annual pension rate of $29,093. That's about $2,424 a month. With one dependent, that maximum jumps to $34,488 a year. Your actual payment is the difference between that maximum and your countable income. So even if you don't get the full amount, you might still get a meaningful monthly check. And here's the part almost nobody mentions. Even if your income disqualifies you from basic pension, you can still be eligible for the enhanced aid and attendance rate because it uses a higher threshold. Veterans get screened out of basic pension and never realize they might still clear the bar for the enhanced version before we get started. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss important VA updates. And let me know in the comments, where are you watching this video from? There's also a net worth limit to keep in mind. For the current period, that's $163,699, and it includes both your assets and your income combined. Your primary home doesn't count toward that limit while you still own it. But if you sell it, the cash from that sale becomes countable immediately, and that can knock you over the limit without warning. That's a scenario I see trip people up constantly. Someone downsizes to make life easier, and it accidentally costs them their pension eligibility for a while. Before we go further, if you're finding this useful, take a second to hit like and subscribe. I cover these overlooked veteran and retiree benefits regularly, and it genuinely helps more people find this information when you do. Now let's talk about the tool most veterans don't even know exists: unreimbursed medical expenses, or UMEs. This is where a lot of the real money gets unlocked. If you're paying for home health care, assisted living, prescription drugs, hearing aids, dentures, or even health insurance premiums, those costs can be subtracted from your countable income, which means your income for VA purposes might be far lower than what shows up on your tax return. The catch is that only the portion of your medical expenses above 5% of your MAPR amount counts. For a single veteran with no dependents, that threshold is $872 a year. Once you're past that, every additional dollar of documented medical expense reduces the income the VA counts against you. I've seen cases where a veteran's gross income looked well over the limit, but after properly documenting assisted living or in-home care costs, they qualified for the full maximum payment. If you're paying meaningfully for care right now and haven't run these numbers, you might be closer to qualifying than you think. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss important VA updates. And let me know in the comments, where are you watching this video from? Transferring assets to get under the net worth limit. Since 2018, VA has a 36-month look-back period. If you give away money or property or sell something for less than it's worth specifically to qualify, the VA can find that and impose a penalty period where you're ineligible for benefits, and that penalty can stretch for years depending on the amount. If you're thinking about restructuring your finances to qualify, talk to a VA-accredited claims agent or attorney first, not after the fact. Another misconception worth clearing up. This benefit isn't just for veterans. Surviving spouses of wartime veterans can qualify for survivor's pension with aid and attendance too, with their own separate rate table. A widow or widower who assumes VA benefits ended when their spouse passed away may be leaving money on the table they're fully entitled to. You'll need your DD-214 to prove service and discharge status, documentation of your financial situation, and medical evidence, typically VA Form 21-268. Oh, filled out by a physician, confirming your need for aid and attendance or housebound status. One thing that can meaningfully speed things along is filing what's called a fully developed claim, where you submit all your supporting documents up front instead of piecemeal. Incomplete applications with missing medical or financial documentation are one of the most common reasons claims stall out for months longer than they need to. Aid and attendance and housebound benefits are not something you're locked out of just because you're already receiving other income, and they're not an either-or choice with everything else in your life. But you cannot receive aid and attendance and housebound at the same time. VA pays whichever one applies to your situation, not both stacked together. What trips people up is thinking these categories are fixed forever. If your health changes, say you go from managing independently to needing daily help, you can request a review and potentially move from basic pension or from housebound up into the higher aid and attendance rate. Veterans who were denied years ago or who qualified only for a small amount sometimes assume that's permanent. It's not. As your care needs increase, your benefit can increase with it, but the VA isn't going to automatically catch that change. You have to report it and request the reevaluation yourself. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss important VA updates. And let me know in the comments, where are you watching this video from? So let's bring this together. VA pension with aid and attendance is a needs-based, tax-free monthly benefit for wartime veterans and surviving spouses who need help with daily living, completely separate from service-connected disability compensation. The maximum for 2026 runs up to $29,093 a year for a single veteran, or $34,488 with a dependent, and your unreimbursed medical expenses can lower your countable income enough to qualify even if your gross income looks too high on paper. The single most important thing to remember is this. Don't assume you're disqualified based on income alone before you actually run the numbers with your medical expenses factored in. That assumption is exactly what keeps thousands of eligible veterans and widows from ever filing. If there's one thing to do today, it's this. Pull together your discharge paperwork, your income documentation, and a rough list of what you're currently spending on medical and care costs, and either start a claim on va.gov or reach out to a veteran service officer through your local VFW, American Legion, or county veterans office. Their help is free, and they deal with this paperwork every single day. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss important VA updates. And let me know in the comments, where are you watching this video from? You earned this benefit through your service, and it's still there waiting, whether you filed for it 30 years ago or never have. Take care of yourself, take the next step when you're ready, and I'll see you in the next one.